Welcome back, race fans! As we rev up for the new season, let's zoom into the challenges and strategies that each F1 team is fine-tuning to stay ahead of the pack. We're talking speed, aerodynamics, and all the tech magic that makes these cars fly on the track. So, buckle up and let's dive into the engineering marvels our favorite teams are cooking up for 2024. Remember when Ferrari's red machines dominated the tracks? They're on a mission to bring back those glory days with the SF24. It's a speed demon in qualifying, but race day is like rolling the dice. The Maranello squad is balancing aerodynamics with grip, tweaking the suspension for a ride as smooth as gelato. They're not stopping there. The SF24's rear-end behavior is under the microscope, with adjustments to slice through the air like a sharp Italian knife. And let's not forget about the engines. They're fine-tuning them for power delivery as smooth as a Pavarotti note. Ferrari's dream? To hand Leclerc and his teammate a masterpiece on wheels. A car that's not just fast, but a thrill to drive. If they pull it off, we might just see the prancing horse leaping back onto the podium. Next up, Aston Martin. They started strong, but had to play catch-up later on. Now, they're all about keeping that early spark alive. The Silverstone crew is crunching data and running simulations to make every tweak count. Aerodynamics is where they're artists, sculpting the front wing and diffuser for the perfect airflow. Stroll and Alonso need a car that's as responsive as a butler in a British manor. Under the hood, the engine team is in lockstep with the chassis folks, ensuring power without punishing the tires. Their goal? To craft the AMR24 into a beauty that's as graceful on the track as it is on the eyes. Watch out, they're gunning to paint the tracks with a streak of British racing green. Haas had us on the edge of our seats with their qualifying pace, but race days were a different story. Tire management was their Achilles heel. Now, they're all about finding that sweet spot in aerodynamics, tweaking the underfloor and playing with vortex generators to keep the airflow friendly. They're also eyeing the front wing and barge boards to cut down on turbulence and up the stability. The next Haas car aims to be a chameleon, adapting to any track, any condition. If they get it right, Haas could very well be the dark horse this season. Over at Red Bull Racing, they're not resting on their laurels. The engineers in Milton Keynes are already plotting the RB20 success story. They're customizing the car's dynamics to fit Verstappen and Perez like a tailored suit. Perez's silky driving style calls for adjustments that keep those tires lasting longer on race day. Their aerodynamic philosophy is all about striking a balance between downforce and drag. They're finessing the airflow to keep the RB20 as swift as a gazelle while gripping the track with the force of a lion's paws. Red Bull thrives on adaptability. They're tweaking their design philosophy to stay on top, even as the rules of the game change. They're all about harmony between the power unit and chassis, optimizing for smooth energy deployment and keeping things cool under the collar. For Red Bull, it's about making every piece of the puzzle fit perfectly. Their drive for innovation and flexibility is what keeps them ahead of the curve. If they hit the sweet spot, the RB20 could be the chariot that continues their reign in the racing realm. Now, let's cruise over to Sauber, who are ready to show the world what they're made of after parting ways with Alfa Romeo. The C43 had potential, but needed a little more harmony between its aerodynamics and mechanics. The brains at Sauber are now unlocking the car's secret strengths, aiming to keep it glued to the track. They raised the ride height for safety, but threw the aerodynamics off balance. So, they're reworking the underfloor to master the art of ground effect aerodynamics, seeking downforce without compromising on height. James Key's arrival brings fresh eyes to the technical team. His innovative thinking is set to refine Sauber's approach, especially when it comes to the suspension. It's not just about hugging the ground, it's about giving drivers the confidence to push the limits. Aerodynamics is still king, with a focus on improving the front wing and barge boards to keep the car stable in the twisty bits. And they're fine-tuning the power unit to make sure it delivers the oomph without wearing out the tires. Sauber's eyeing consistency and predictability as their tickets to the podium. With Key's vision and a strong focus on aerodynamics and suspension, they're gearing up to shake things up in Formula One. Let's shift to Williams Racing, who've seen their share of ups and downs. They need a car that's a match for both Alex Albon and newcomer Logan Sargeant. At their Grove headquarters, the engineers are refining the FW45 successor to handle the heat of battle. Think fast corners and sudden stops. They're giving the suspension a tech boost to grip the track like a leech, and they're dialing in the aerodynamics to keep the downforce steady as a rock. The new Williams machine aims to be a chameleon, changing its colors to suit any track, any weather. They're weaving the engine into the car's design for a harmony that leads to consistent speed and precision handling. For Sargeant, his second season is a chance to shine, but he needs a steed that won't let him down. Williams is on a quest to give both drivers a car that's a ticket to the points, proving they're climbing back to the top. Alpine's A523 had its sights set on aggressive downforce, but sometimes at the cost of stability. The teams in Enstone and Viry-Châtillon are recalibrating their approach, aiming to propel themselves to the front. Their front wing was a vortex factory, but it made the car a bit too temperamental. Alpine's gurus are turning to simulations and wind tunnels to figure out how to tame these vortices without losing their edge. It's a balancing act between downforce and drag, sculpting the bodywork to keep the car fast on the straights and nimble in the corners. They might need to revisit the underfloor design to keep the aerodynamics steady as a surgeon's hand. The suspension system is getting an overhaul for better handling and tire life, especially with the forces of downforce at play. And they're ensuring the power unit and aerodynamics are in a harmonious relationship, focusing on efficient cooling and energy recovery systems that don't drop the ball on performance. Alpine's drivers, Ocon and Alonso, need a car that's as sure-footed as a mountain goat, especially in the fast turns. Finding this balance could see Alpine making waves and challenging the big fish. McLaren's MCL37 had promise, but stumbled in the slow corners, revealing a gap between aerodynamics and grip. The team from Woking is now laser-focused on bridging that gap for a competitive edge in the upcoming season. The MCL37's aerodynamic quirks, particularly when braking at higher ride heights, led to some hair-raising moments. McLaren's engineers are diving into the synergy between ground effect aerodynamics and suspension to maintain a consistent downforce through every twist and turn. They're reimagining the car's underbelly, from the floor to the diffuser and barge boards, to seal the deal with the track and keep the downforce as reliable as a Swiss watch. The suspension is under the microscope too, with potential breakthroughs in damper technology for a ride that's both smooth and responsive. Flexibility is the name of the game when it comes to ride heights, ensuring the car can adapt to different fuel loads without throwing off the aerodynamic balance. This adaptability is crucial for Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, who need a car that can dance to the tune of different tracks without missing a beat. The power unit's integration with the aerodynamics is also a priority, finding the sweet spot between cooling and aerodynamic efficiency. The hybrid energy systems are being fine-tuned for that extra zip on the track, without compromising the car's poise. For McLaren, consistency across the board is the golden ticket. Ironing out the wrinkles across various conditions will empower their drivers to chase down podiums and etch new victories into McLaren's storied Formula One legacy. Now, let's talk about AlphaTauri and the journey of their AT04. They showed flashes of brilliance, but they were often tripped up by late corner instability. The Faenza squad is all hands on deck to rectify this, while catering to the contrasting styles of Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda. The secret to late corner composure lies in the harmony between aerodynamics and the mechanical side. AlphaTauri's engineers are fine-tuning the suspension to better handle the demands of braking and cornering. They're also tweaking the differential settings to strike a balance between traction and stability as the car powers out of corners. Ricciardo's seasoned instincts and Tsunoda's raw talent are providing a wealth of feedback, shaping the car's setup for both stability and gusto. Aerodynamically, they're ensuring the airflow remains steady through the corners, with adjustments to the front wing and floor edges aimed at bolstering rear stability and bolstering driver confidence. In essence, AlphaTauri is on a quest to provide Ricciardo and Tsunoda with a car that's as reliable as it is dynamic. By refining the suspension, differential, and aerodynamics, they're setting their sights on consistent performance that can shake up the midfield tussle. And lastly, let's not forget the titans of the turbo hybrid era, Mercedes. They encountered some unexpected turbulence with the new ground effect regulations, leading to the notorious porpoising phenomenon. But, in true Mercedes fashion, they're dissecting the W14 with a fine-tooth comb to smooth out the bumps for the next season. Mercedes' aerodynamics team is rethinking the floor design to curb the porpoising while maintaining a stronghold on downforce. They're also fine-tuning the car's overall aerodynamics to reclaim their edge in straight-line speed. When it comes to the suspension, they're devising a system that can gracefully handle the aerodynamic loads without turning the ride into a bouncing castle. And with the power unit, the focus is on integrating it seamlessly into the chassis, ensuring the cooling systems work efficiently without compromising the car's sleek aerodynamics. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, the stars behind the wheel, need a machine they can depend on to unleash their full potential. Their input is shaping the car's evolution towards an ideal blend of speed and drivability. Mercedes' commitment to ironing out the W14's wrinkles is unwavering. By addressing the porpoising issue and refining their approach to aerodynamics and suspension, they're determined to reclaim their spot at the top of the podium. Wrapping up, every team on the F1 grid is locked in an endless dance of innovation and refinement. The hunt for the perfect blend of aerodynamics, suspension, power unit integration, and overall performance is a relentless pursuit. With each team bringing its unique flavor to car design, the upcoming season is shaping up to be a thrilling showcase of engineering mastery and competitive fire. Now, over to you. Which team do you think has the most ingenious plan for the season? Do you believe their strategies have the muscle to propel them to victory? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're all ears and eager to hear what you have to say. And hey, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, give it a tap and ring the bell icon to stay in the loop on all the racing action. We've got a whole pit lane of content gearing up, and we can't wait to bring you along for the ride. So, keep those gears turning, and we'll catch you in the next video.